Yeah.
Cam Newton is being kicked out of Carolina, and Teddy Bridgewater is the new guy in Carolina. And I'm sorry, and Jameis Winston has been kicked out of Tampa Bay. Who has a better upside, a brighter future in 2020, Cam Newton or Jameis Winston?
I think Jameis. And the reason why I think Jameis is because if you look at his stats, he's got great stats. I mean, he broke 5,000 yards passing. Now, we've never seen Cam even do more than 5,000 yards. So you get him in a great situation. I think he could possibly end up in New England. I think Jameis has a better opportunity to have more success. And the health questions. Don't know about his Cam's health yet.
Now, for me, it's Cam Newton. Look, it's not that hard to throw for 5,000 yards if you're Jameis Winston, if you don't care who catches it. You know, whether it's your color or the other team, you just throw the ball up and it's 3 flies up. Let's be real about this. We all know about mind over matter, and in this situation, it's mind versus matter. It's the mind of Jameis Winston, who has never given you full confidence that he sees the football field correctly, or more importantly, makes the right decisions based on what he sees. His mind is an issue, whereas the matter of Cam Newton is his body. And no one can predict the future in terms of, is Cam going to be healthy? But we certainly can predict that Jameis Winston will not see the football field correctly and go out there and turn the ball over. If you look at some of his numbers, insane in terms of he's only started 3 full seasons. And in those 48 games, he threw 66 interceptions. Like, you know as a defender that you're going to get the ball thrown to you, but worse, if you're his teammate, you know you're going to give up the ball. And a guy who's accounted for 1/5 of all the pick sixes in the NFL last year is not going to have a brighter future than a former MVP who is Cam Newton.
Yeah, but I think you'll find out.
I'm going to say that, hold up, I'm going to say this. I think that both of you, I can see the arguments on both sides. The health concerns about Cam Newton are real. But the reason why I lean Jameis Winston just by a hair, I think Jameis Winston cares more about football than Cam Newton. And that's been my issue with Cam Newton. How important is football? To Jameis is very important. Marcellus is right, though. The guy's a turnover machine. And, you know, maybe he cares too much, and maybe that's why he makes so many mistakes. But if I had to just base on who really cares about football, I think Jameis, because he hasn't had the kind of success that Cam has had. Cam's been an MVP. Cam has had the $100 million contract and has been really well paid. It's all still out there for Jameis. He hasn't proven himself as an NFL player. He still cares about football. I think it's more important to Jameis.
I think Jameis brings to the unknown element. Like, we're so sold on saying how much of a turnover machine that he is, but how good has his coaching been? How much has his development been a part of his career? I think if he goes to the right place, that's what's more important. If he goes to the right place, like if he ends up in New England and they can teach him how to look at the field and see those windows, it may make all the difference in the world. I'm leaning on the fact that we know he can deliver yards, and if we only have to correct one aspect of his game, which is the turnovers aspect of it, I would be more willing to lean towards a guy that's available that can put up numbers.
I am not getting caught up in the fact that Jameis Winston had LASIK surgery this offseason, and all he needs is a great coach to bring out all of his great abilities. And he started off as a #1 pick, just like Cam Newton. If you care so much, show it in full production and care for the football and care to protect it. Jameis Winston is predictable. You know he's going to turn the ball over. Cam Newton has one issue, guys. He wasn't healthy. Other than that, when you saw Cam Newton in full body, mind, and spirit, that was an MVP or MVP candidate. We have never discussed that in terms of Jameis Winston, a lower ceiling, no matter what coaching and what he does in terms of protection of the football.
Jameis has better stats. And Cam's greatest year, he threw 35 touchdowns, only 4 more than what Jameis has done. So I wouldn't get too carried away on saying that he's such an elite, more of an elite talent than Jameis is.
Well, you get me in garbage time situations. You put me under duress. I understand that Jameis has better counting numbers, but making those numbers count, he doesn't have the same impact as Cam Newton has so far in his career.
That's fair.
Anybody want to talk?
If I respond, I'll take it. I'll definitely take it and respond to it. I certainly believe that Jameis in the right situation, and we'll find out when Tom goes to Tampa Bay as well, in terms of protection as to how that applies. I think so. When you look at the amount of times that Jameis was sacked and he was hit and he was rushed, some of those interceptions that we're hanging on Jameis isn't necessarily on Jameis Winston personally. So if he goes to the right situation, again, where there is a running attack or there is a sound blocking scheme that's there and they're able to develop Jameis, I don't see this whole epidemic of him throwing interceptions being the reason why he doesn't have a higher upside moving forward today than what Cam Newton has.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. And be sure to check out more of the best clips from Speak For Yourself or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.